Hello everyone. I got a request for Fallout 3 and Fallout Vegas builds. Unfortunately, most of my guides that I have typed up on the internet are either deleted, I can't find them, or archived. So I had to do a lot of reading and use a lot of my memory. So there might be some mistakes along the way, and if that's the case, feel free to talk to me in the comments. With that said, let's get started. I have pulled up the wiki for Fallout 3, and we're just going to go down the list of skills so I don't lose track of where I am. So, in any Fallout that I've done, I have completely skipped over barter. As far as Fallout 3 is concerned, I did put some emphasis on big guns, completely ignored energy weapons, and explosives. If there were skill points left over, I did do some lock picking, but I was more concerned with getting medicine in that situation. I skipped anything to do with melee. I only put some points in repair. I didn't really go that far, maybe 30 at most. I did put an emphasis on science. I'll explain why in a minute. Um, I definitely put as much as I could into small guns. Completely ignored sneak, speech, and unarmed. All right, so with all that said, let me now tab over and I'll explain everything. So the first thing to realize with Fallout 3 is there's not really um, that many weapons that are silenced. The few that are silenced are low in damage, so it's not really easy to do a sneak build in Fallout 3. I think the only way that you can really do that is if you use melee weapons, but I've never been a fan of them. So there's that. The other reason for small guns is because I found more of their ammo types than I did for the energy weapons. Um, so with that explained, I'll pull this up. This is the list of big guns in Fallout 3. If you'll notice, the Fat Man and missile launchers are listed here. That's because in Fallout 3, they are classified as big guns and are not affected by any kind of explosive modifier, even from perks. So that's why I went some big guns because there were some targets that just absolutely needed this kind of weaponry. So with that all explained, let me quickly move over to the perks, and we're just going to go down this list, and I'll tell you where I think the points should go. All right, so in level 2, gun nut is acceptable because you basically pay a perk to get 10 skill points in total. But a more important level 2 perk will be Swift Learner. The sooner you get this, the more XP you get. Moving on to level 4. Um, Down here, the guides will tell you that in order to reach like max skills or whatever, depending which Fallout series you're looking at, you do need Comprehension. I think Fallout 3 does fall under that. But it's not really necessary. By the time that you get the skills you need, I mean, you could pretty much end the game even without being 100. Um, so with that said, obviously you want to go educated as quickly as possible. That's plus 3 skill points per level. Just like Swift Learner, the sooner you take it, the more you benefit from it. And that's it for level 4. And level 6, Bloody Mess is a decent one to have, but I would put this as a very last priority because it's only plus 5% overall damage. Now, if it was like plus 15%, I could understand making it a sooner priority, but because it's only 5%, it's going to go later. What I think is more important out of level 6 is toughness because that's plus 10% damage reduction permanently. So that's always worth it. Um, That's level 6. Moving on to level 8. As far as level 8's concerned, I would say strong back is going to be a little bit better than size matters, um, but that all depends on what build you're doing. Size matter is just like the gun nut thing. It's one perk for 15 skill, so it's a decent math equation. But I would put more emphasis on some of the other stuff listed. It's just if you get spare perk points. Moving on to level 10, finesse is always worth it. This is something that I would put higher up in the priority list, just because it is a 5% chance to crit at all times. So that is always beneficial. Um, I think that's it for 10. Yep. For level 12, Life Giver is okay, but I would put more emphasis on fast metabolism, so you get more hit points from stim packs. Those will be your lifeline in any Fallout series. Moving on to 14. So with 14, there is these specific quest perks. I don't recall of them ever being useful. Um, so the thing that I do like here is Cyborg. This is exactly why I was saying I went medicine and science. There is usually between 1 and 3 perks in any given Fallout game that increase your damage resistance, and they are always worth the trouble. So in this particular case, Cyborg does require Medicine 60 and Science 60. So it does require a significant amount of skill, but it pays off because you get plus 10 to energy weapons, plus 10% to radiation resistance, poison resistance, and damage resistance. So you basically get a 30% damage reduction total split in 3 plus 10 to your skill. So you can imagine why that's good. Um, the other good one here is Adamantium Skeleton, which is also level 14. That is the one that reduces limb damage taken. That's always beneficial. Moving on to 16. For 16, better criticals is really important, especially if you have finesse. So that way you occasionally get some burst damage. Better criticals does give you plus 50% damage with critical hits. Tag is also in 16. This gives you plus 15 points to a skill of your choice. So it just falls under the same thing I've been saying with Gun Nut and those others. If you've got a perk point to spare, plus 15 points to that skill, always worth. Moving on to 18. Um, there's really nothing in 18, so I would go ahead and pick up a perk further down the list. 20, same thing. However, if you're a person that does not like spoilers, I can respect the use of a perk for Explorer if you really want to do that. I personally say screw it, save the perk, just pull out a Fallout 3 map. It's not like it's been out for a long time, and there are plenty of online maps to look at with very specific markers, which actually those markers I think are more accurate than having Explorer. All right, so that should just about cover it. I'm going to go and end the recording, and we're going to make a part two and cover Fallout Vegas. Um, thank you for listening.